Neighborhoods built up and around them. Benedict Canyon is an affluent area, and its residents usually feel far removed from urban LA. The ravine starts in the Hollywood Hills and drops down in a north to south direction, ending in Beverly Hills. Even small homes in the BC area usually command 7 figures. Residents are enthusiastic about their special enclave, but occasionally snakes slither into paradise. Decades earlier, the Manson family visited a house in Benedict Canyon on a fateful August night, and when they left, 5 people were dead, including the actress Sharon Tate, who was 8 months pregnant. As if on cue to that bad history, the wind began to whistle and wail. To my right, I caught a glimpse of a huge shadow moving past a street lamp, and turned to see a body-sized palm frond drop from the sky. As the branch struck the street, I could hear its impact even through the squad car's closed windows. The Santa Ana winds were blowing again, and it was a good thing LA was living up to its stereotype of not being a pedestrian town. No one was out walking, and those in their cars looked as if they just wanted to get home safe and sound. It was on nights like this that it was easy to imagine being back in the Old West. LA is the largest city in the country, but during Santa Ana conditions, dust devils do their spinning, and tumbleweed can often be seen rolling on its streets. I had seen neither tumbleweed nor devils yet, but the night was young. In that morning's LA Times, there had been an article on the Santa Ana winds, which had been blowing for much of the week. The article had quoted from Raymond Chandler's story, Red Wind, describing those hot winds that curl your hair and make your nerves jump and your skin itch. Chandler had said when the Santa Ana winds occurred that anything can happen. My partner was ready. He wagged his tail. It was too dark to see much of the dusty movement of the hot air being funneled down through the canyons, but I could feel it surge. Every so often, my squad car rocked back and forth as if it was being shaken by the draft of some big rig. The blow was pushing everything in its path, an unseen big bad wolf, huffing and puffing. Down the street, I could see traffic lights throwing their colors around. It was like looking at the light show of a kaleidoscopic lighthouse. Nobody I knew liked Santa Anas, except for the serial murderer the media called the Santa Ana Strangler. The Santa Ana winds blow hardest between November and March, and over the last 2 windy seasons, the Strangler had strangled 11 women, each taken during a Santa Ana condition. Some of the tabloids were calling his murders Gone with the Wind. Only minutes earlier, there had been a hot call. A woman in Benedict Canyon had fought off an attack by a masked man with a garrote. Neighbors had heard her screams, and their pounding at the door had driven off the woman's assailant. Her attacker had been spotted fleeing into the darkness of the canyon. In the distance, a fire truck siren called out, and then a few moments later another joined in, and then there came the sounds of a third. Sirius's ears were up and at the ready. I could tell he was considering joining the chorus, so I said, "Don't even think about it." One of his 2 ears wilted. I lowered the window and sniffed. A hairy muzzle joined me in that pursuit. Somewhere not too far away, a fire was burning. Santa Ana winds and fire are a fearsome combination. As a patrolman, I had worked evacuations of neighborhoods during a few bad burns and been a reluctant witness to the winds whipping up the fires. It wasn't a detail I had ever liked. Up close, you could see why Santa Anas are called the devil winds. The Spanish word for Satan is Satanas. Some believe Santa Ana is just the anglicized Satanas. The hot winds don't come from the desert, it is whispered, but from hell. Sirius offered a throaty growl to all the unseen demons. If the demons had any sense, they fled the scene. Jenny had always been convinced the dog was privy to a world lost on us poor humans, and not just because some of his senses are so much more keen than those of any of us Homo sapiens. Jen and I used to laugh when Sirius tilted his head and cocked his ears, as if listening to a voice. Sometimes he'd even carry on conversations with that voice, making pleased and excited sounds. "Sirius is talking to God," Jenny would say. Her tone was always playful, but I could never tell if she was